fucking love the Brits. As a Brit myself, I am a bit biased when I say it really is the TV event of the year. Well, apart from Hootenanny. Nothing can make me pick them over you, Jules. For over 40 years, this anarchic award show has brought us some iconic moments. Jerry's tea towel dress, Jarvis versus Jackson, school disco faves Steps getting battered by Belle and Sebastian, not literally, John Prescott being battered by Chumbawamba, literally, and the KLF performing alongside a dead sheep carcass. And that was just the 90s. So come with me as we explore this year's nominations and predict what could possibly go down at the 2025 instalment. Call this the BRAT Awards because Charlie XCX is gonna do a Ray. I'm not gonna lie, when planning this video, I did feel a bit like Mr. Poppy in Nativity when he's trying to pick who's gonna be in the Three Kings boy band because it was difficult. There was so much good new music last year and so many artists that I love and millions of other people are nominated and up for awards this year, especially in certain categories. Now, this year's Brit Awards takes place on the 1st of March and there's some really good performances this year as well. If we just look at the little list, Lola Young, my beloved Sam Fender, who was obviously the topic of last video, Sabrina Carpenter, Jade, Shabuzi, Miles Smith, The Last Dinner Party, who we all know I fucking love, and Teddy Swims. Like to think I'm a very sophisticated music journalist and thus I won't use my own personal bias when picking. There are some categories where I just haven't been able to help myself. So I will give you a warning, but I have reasons. Why. It's not just because they're my favourite or they released an album that I thought was really good. And hell, there's an album in here that's up for Best Album that I didn't even pick as Best Album, even though it was like my favourite album last year. So if you see my albums video, I'll put it here. You will know what my favourite album of last year was. That is up for an award and I haven't picked it. Yeah, you can probably guess which album has been picked. But with that being said, I feel like this video is going to be really, really long and involve me rambling, so I'm just going to get started. Kicking off with the Song of the Year nominations list. Now, there's way too many songs that have been nominated. I think it's like the biggest category along with International Song of the Year. I will put the full list of songs on the screen here just so you can see, and I've picked a few to talk about here because there's a few that I feel like have got a real potential to win big here. As much as I love the Beatles, and you know, they were like, I think number 5 in my Spotify Wrapped last year, I don't really understand why Now and Then is on here because it was released in 2023, but it did win at the Grammys, so there is that. There's 2 songs here which I feel like that's 4. My personal favourite from the list is Angel of My Dreams by Jade. I feel like teenage me, who was a massive music snob, would be like, oh, Karis, what are you doing? But this song is incredible. I don't know why I was so snobby around pop music. That's one thing I'm so happy that I've grown out of. And filming this video, I feel like definitely proves that. This song, I just feel like is a standout. Jade won the Trailblazer Award at the Rolling Stone Awards. By the way, if you have not seen the performance of this song from the Rolling Stone Awards, you definitely need to check it out because she does an alternate version. I mean, the original is like 4 or 5 songs in one. You've got the little Sandy Shore homage in the intro, you've got the real like noughties clubland feel, you've got the soul chorus, the bloody synths. If you know me, you know I love a synth. I don't think there is a video on this channel where I haven't talked about my love of synths. It is just a brilliant song and an incredible comeback. I also love the snide digs to how the music industry has treated her in the past. For example, this line here. But as I have already mentioned in the intro, I really do think that this award is going to go to Charlie XCX, or should I say Charlie XCX and Billie Eilish, because the song of hers that has gone up for Song of the Year is Guess. This was number 1. There is another number 1 in this category. It's Chase the Status and Stormzy's Backbone. However, I just think with the impact that Charlie had on popular culture last year and the fact that, you know, she's teamed up with Billie, who's like obviously like again like one of the biggest artists in the world, I really do think that this is gonna win. Next we have the Best New Artist Award. I was really surprised to not see Lola Young in this category because obviously she has blown up so much in the past year, even though her first album came out in 2019. She is up for a couple of awards this year, but the nominees are as follows. I'm not going to read through all of them because I feel like it will take too long. Last Dinner Party were a recipient of the Rising Star Award. That obviously gets announced like I think a few weeks before the ceremony. They won it in 2024, so they were last year's winners. I like to think that it will go to them because they went from getting that award to then getting this one. I also think that this could go to Miles Smith just because of the success of Stargazing. Also up for this award is English Teacher, who won the Mercury Prize this year, or not this year, last year. I am yet to get really into English Teacher. I do like The World's Biggest Paving Slab. I did listen to their album. I think I had it on in the background and I didn't really take it all in too much. I would quite like to listen to that again. And then obviously Ezra Collective. Ezra Collective I feel like are one of the most talked about bands at the moment. Their sound is really, really different, which I think works really well at the Brits. We all like an underdog, even though they have been praised critically, and obviously this award is voted by critics essentially. But then again, Last Dinner Party, I feel like could do a wet leg. I know I keep saying like, oh, they're going to do a Ray, they're going to do a wet leg. But you know when there's like a band that kind of explode out of nowhere, very similar to how Wet Leg did. And then they just win big at all these awards and people are like, how are they getting them? How are they getting them? I feel like Last Dinner Party could do that. Next we have the Artist of the Year nominees. Now, in my heart, I want to say Sam Fender, but he spent most of 2024 working on his album, which just came out, and only released like 2 singles last year, and then obviously toured at the end of the year. And in this same category is, so I think it's self-explanatory really who this is going to. Then again, you've also got Dua Lipa in this category, who had quite a big year last year. Then we have Brits Group of the Year, which I always feel like is my category. This is the one that I always really look forward to as somebody that mainly listens to bands. And Last Dinner Party are up for this award. And this was really difficult because, again, I would love them to win this. You've got Bring Me the Horizon, you've got The Cure, you've got Coldplay, and you've got Ezra Collective. Ezra Collective, again, very talked about throughout the music press. The Cure, as much as they are such an iconic band, I don't know if I can see a heritage, like what is essentially a heritage act winning this award, because it just doesn't happen. Blur were up for it, I think, last year. I feel like they sort of just get put up for the sake of it, like, oh, let's have an older band. Coldplay, as much as like they are massive and their live shows get so well reviewed and they're so innovative in their technology with live shows and everything, their newer music isn't as well received as their older stuff is. I think most people, when they go and see them, go to hear the classics, and I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan of their newer music. However, they were a band that I grew up with, so I can't really see it going to them. Bring Me the Horizon though are a massive band, quite possibly one of the biggest bands in the world, so I feel like it could go to them. Also have made headlines recently for covering Wonderwall. I feel like Bring Me the Horizon could win this, and I can't remember if they have won this before. International Group of the Year, I was very much tied between 2 bands in particular. I would absolutely love Fontaine's DC to win this, just because of how much I loved Romance, how much of a big year that they've got coming up. They've just released a brand new song, It's Amazing to Be Young. They also have got a load of headline shows this year. I'm actually going to see them in Finsbury Park and can't bloody wait. But they are also up against Linkin Park. Now, Linkin Park, I feel like they could win this purely on the fact that they've reinvented themselves. I think if they did win, it would be on the fact that they've really come back like a phoenix from the ashes. Obviously, we all know what happened with Linkin Park. And in the UK, as you know, we bloody love a comeback after a crisis. So next we have the genre categories. Now, these are the ones that are voted by fans, which I think is quite a good idea, because I feel like fans are usually more experts in their field, particularly around genres. So the categories are as follows. You've got Best Alternative Rock Act, which is the one that I voted for the most, Best R&B Act, Best Rap, Hip Hop and Grime Act, Best Dance Act, and Best Pop Act. I am going to go straight in with the dance because that was the one that was listed first. Now, unless an entire nation of Fiat 500 drivers have voted for Becky Hill, I can only see this going one way. Charlie. I feel like I need to display like a Charlie counter in the corner just every time she gets mentioned, because she is going to blow the roof off this year and I'm already predicting it. She is also up for Best Pop Act, so I will move swiftly into that category. I feel like she has a good chance of winning this just because she has a massive fan base behind her, but also Jade has made one hell of a comeback. She also has a massive fan base behind her from her time in Little Mix, so I feel like that could work really, really well. She did also win the Trailblazer Award at the Rolling Stone Awards, like I said. We've also got Lola Young in this category, who has obviously done bits since she blew up last year, and Messy is obviously like been one of the biggest songs of this year, coming from her album that came out last year. I feel like Charlie could get away with another one, yeah, maybe Jade. Next we have the hip hop, grime and rap category. Little Sims is in this category, who I fucking love. Also in this category we have Central C, but to be honest, does anyone listen to Central C apart from 15-year-old Roadman with a little T haircut? And we also have Dave, who pulled off one hell of a performance a couple of years ago. Stormzy, who obviously is an icon in his field. I would like to see Little Sims do this because she did do really well at the Brits a couple of years ago. She's a fave of the music press, although this isn't voted for by the music press, this is voted for by fans. And all the Radio 6 dads love her, so I'm going with Little Sim. Now with Best R&B Act, I would love to go for Georgia Smith just because I love her song Blue Lights at the moment, which came out in 2018, so it is a bit of an old one, but you know, I love that song regardless. But I feel like this is probably going to go to Ray. Now this is the only category that Ray is nominated for, but with her success last year and the fan base that she has, I really think that she could win this award. However, I would also quite like to see Flo win this. I don't know how big a fan base they have, but it would be nice to see a girl group win because a girl group hasn't won a Brit Award in quite a few years now. Obviously, Little Mix were the first British girl group. In fact, probably I think the first girl group to win a Brit Award. Then we have my category, which is Best Alternative Rock Act, and this I feel like could definitely go to Sam Fender, as much as I feel like it does sound a little bit biased and a little bit like, yeah, you would say that. The fan base that this man has is so admirable, so dedicated, and also I just love to see the Lowlights get another Brit Award, because although he is up for Best Artist, I can't see him getting that with the artist that he is in that category with. Next we have the two international categories, so Best International Artist and Best International Song. Best International Song, I don't even think I've picked from. Like, it is genuinely so bloody hard to pick from that. There's like a couple that I think are really up and with a chance of winning. But for International Artist of the Year, again, a lot of these artists are also in that category as well. Sabrina Carpenter, I can't see getting this award because she's already been nominated, I think, for, not even nominated, she's already won the, I think it's like the Global Star Award, and I feel like that's just too similar to this one. Chappell Roan, I would love to see get this, just because of the rise that she's had in the past year, and I really loved her album. I feel like this is going to go to one girl only, and that is Taylor Swift, because of the impact that the Eras Tour has had, not only on the UK, the rest of the world. It's the highest grossing tour of all time. You know, she's had a film made about this tour. She released an album last year. She has an army of massive fans. The impact that she has had on culture and society is just insane. I feel like I used that word way too much. So yeah, I feel like this is going to Taylor Swift. Next we have the hard category, and as you can see I'm bringing up my laptop because I have notes on this category, right? So International Song of the Year, I've highlighted a couple. Benson Boone, Beautiful Things, which I feel like has had TikTok in a chokehold. The amount of times I've seen that advertised on TikTok. Beyonce, Texas Hold'em, absolute corker of a tune. Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather, Chappell Roan, Good Luck Babe. Again, the rise that this woman has had. I do think, however, this is probably going to go to Sabrina Carpenter for Espresso. She is performing obviously at the Brits, and I think the cross appeal that this song has, it's really funky, it's got a bit of an edge to it, and she had so many #1s last year. So yeah, I think it's probably going to go to Sabrina. That wasn't that hard, was it? Then we go on to Album of the Year. Now, Album of the Year, this is obviously British albums, and to be honest, I don't even think I'm going to bother to read out the rest, because I think we all know what this is going to. BRAT. It's only going to be this one. I think, you know, if you read like a publication, like a music publication or a music news outlet's list of top albums of last year, it is always on top. It is BRAT. And as I've already mentioned, the chokehold that this album has had, not only on the music industry but on popular culture itself. You know, I think even companies were actually using BRAT as an acronym. It's inspired fashion trends. I think even the album cover itself is just iconic, and it's going to be one of those ones that's looked at for ages. Those were my predictions for the Brits this year. Don't know about you, but I will definitely be tuning into the Brits on Saturday, as I said in the intro. It is the TV highlight of the year for me, aside from Hootenanny. I fucking love it, and I genuinely believe that the Brits are far more superior to the Grammys. There, I said it. I could not give one shiny shite about the Grammys, even as a music lover. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe, comment down below some of your picks for the Brit Awards. This mug is empty. I don't know why I'm holding it. It just gives me something to hold. And I will see you very soon for another video.